You describe.
What do you see?
Describe how you looked
Aw.
when you were a baby.
What did you look like when you were a baby? Have you seen pictures? Were you a big baby? Were you a little baby?
You couldn't walk or talk, but as you grew older, you got bigger, stronger, and you learned to speak. Someday, you'll become an adult and maybe have your own children. The process of living things being born, growing, and changing throughout life is called a life cycle. All living things, including plants, have a life cycle. Sometimes life cycles are represented by circular diagrams, like this one. The different phases in a life cycle are called stages. Even though all living things are not the same, most have similar life cycle stages. Let's now take a look at the beginning life cycle stage of a plant. You observe. What do you observe attached to this plant?
What are they?
You see many small dark-colored objects. These objects are called seeds. Many plants produce seeds. These sunflower seeds, for example, came from this large sunflower plant. What exactly is a seed? A seed is a small capsule that contains a plant embryo. Under the right conditions, a seed containing a plant embryo can grow into a plant. If the seed receives air, enough water, and the proper temperature, it germinates. A seed germinates when the embryo inside begins to grow and develop. Seeds are important because they're the beginning stage of the plant life cycle. They're also important because animals, as well as people, often eat seeds.
Pistachios.
Yummy.
Okay, what is it growing?
In the early days of a germinating seed, the root is the first to appear, followed by the stem. The plant is nourished by food from within the seed. Next, leaves begin to emerge. The young plant enters a new life cycle stage called a seedling. A seedling is a very young plant. Depending on the type of plant, it may continue to grow over many weeks or many years. These large sequoia trees, for example, have the ability to live and grow for thousands of years. As plants grow, they get taller and larger. We have already seen how seeds germinate
There's your
and
pumpkin
grow.
seeds.
You decide. Where do seeds come from? Seeds come from adult plants. When a plant becomes fully grown, it enters another life cycle stage called an adult. Adult plants are capable of reproducing. Reproduction is the process of producing new living things. Adult plants reproduce in different ways. As we discussed, seeds are a common way that plants reproduce. Flowers are the part of the adult plant responsible for making seeds. Eventually, plants go through the last stage in their life cycle, death. Some plants live only a few weeks or months, while others, such as this bristlecone pine tree, live to be over 2,000 years old before dying.
Video review. What's a video review?
During the past few minutes, we explored some of the fascinating features of plant life cycles. We began by defining the term life cycle. Then we looked at the beginning stage of the life cycle of many plants, the germination of a seed. Next, we saw how plants grow and develop from seedlings to adults. Last, we saw how plants are able to reproduce new plants when they become adults. This completed our exploration of plant life cycles.
A video quiz. I want a video quiz.
Fill in the correct word to complete the sentence. Number 1. This is a diagram of a life.
Cycle.
Good job, guys. Oh, did I pause it? No, I didn't.
Number 2. A plant life cycle often starts with these small objects called a seed when the embryo begins to grow.
Germinate.
Number 4.
Germinate.
Is a young plant.
Do you remember? Seedling. Seedling.
And number 5. Plants have the ability to reproduce.
You don't need to. You don't need to talk. Good. I heard it. Adults. All right. Nice job, guys. All right. So we learned a little bit more about the life cycle of a plant. I have a book I also want to share with you before we look at a special seed, but I'm going to wait till I have whole body listening. Everybody get your attention up here. I have 2 books actually that I really am torn between reading. So I think I'll go with my first one. It's called From Seed to Sunflower. And this is a great book about the sunflower's life cycle. I know there are some people in Colorado that grow sunflowers. You might be one of them. Does anybody grow sunflowers in their garden? Haley, can I have full body, please? Thank you. Yeah. All right, so we're going to look at the life cycle of a sunflower. Introduction, sunflower seeds, germination. Oh, these are all the table of contents. We're going to learn about roots and shoots, buds, growing taller, the flower, pollination, ripe seeds, withering, sunflower facts, and then some sunflower words in the index. This goes nicely with what we learned from Ranger Pam, so be thinking about that as I read the story. Plants use energy from the sun to make food. Minerals in the soil also help plants to grow. In this book, you can see how a tiny seed grows into a beautiful sunflower. In autumn, which is the season, Finn, we're in right now, the seeds of fully grown sunflowers fall to the ground. A seed contains the tiny plant and the food the plant will need before it starts to grow. So here's a thank you, Mrs. Harrison, sunflower seed. I have to say that I'm getting so many seeds stuck in my socks right now when I'm hiking. My dogs are coming home from hikes with seeds stuck in their fur. So it is definitely that time of year, especially before the snow came. I was really noticing that. That's how seeds travel, right? Sometimes we help them travel. Animals help them travel. The seeds are buried in the soil. The soil contains minerals. Minerals are special foods that help the plant to grow. In spring, the warm sun and rain make the seeds begin to grow. This is called, and this was a hard one for us. Everyone say it with me.
Germination.
Excellent. That's when it starts to grow. We are hoping to observe that. The seed lies buried in the soil all through the winter. So what season do we have coming up right now? Winter. It's not here yet. This is technically still fall, but pretty soon it'll be winter, and all these seeds that I'm talking about, Abby, that are getting stuck in my socks, right? I see blowing through the air. They're all going to get buried into that soil, right? They're going to be down there all winter long until spring comes, and then we'll see some germination. The tough seed coat splits, then the first root grows out. It knows that it must grow down into the soil. So if you listen now, it's going to help you with your assignment today. So be listening to what I'm saying. The tough seed coat splits, then the first root grows out. It knows that it must grow down into the soil. Soon afterwards, a shoot will sprout, pushing the seed coat out of the soil. It knows it must grow which way to get air? Up. The shoot's going to go up, the root's going to go down. Has a different purpose. And then the outside of that sunflower seed is called the seed coat. Food stored inside the seed helps the plant to grow. Smaller roots begin to sprout from the larger root. The roots collect minerals and water from the soil to feed the growing plant. A bud hidden between the seed leaves pushes away the split seed coat. And here's a picture of that. Here's your seed leaf. This is called the seed coat, the outside of the seed. Here's the root, or they call that comes down, and then this shoot, this part goes up, right? When it's a baby, it's called an embryo. You can find an embryo inside your seed. We're going to look for one today. The young sunflower grows taller and more leaves sprout. The leaves use air, water, and sunlight to make food. Does anyone know what that process is called? What do you think, Abby? Germination is when it sprouts from the seed and it starts beginning to grow. What do you think? What did he say? Reproduction. Not that's when the adult plant forms a seed to make a new cycle. But when the leaves use the sun to make food, you know? No, photosynthesis. The leaves use air, water, and sunlight to make food. That's called photosynthesis. Flower buds form and the roots grow longer. The roots take in water from the soil and help to hold the sunflower steady. So here's a picture of your young leaves. You've got a garden snail enjoying the new plant and the roots. Look at all those roots. Wow. Yeah, it is. The flower bud grows at the top of the stem. Later, it will open up into a large flower head. Each flower head is made of lots of tiny flowers packed together. These tiny flowers produce seeds. And here's your flower bud and the stem. I think sunflowers are amazing. I love how they turn to face the sun. It's so cool. Insects are attracted to flowers because flowers make sweet nectar and pollen. Insects drink nectar, and as they fly between the plants, they also carry the sticky pollen on the plants from flower to flower. It is the pollen that makes plants produce new seeds. This is called, and you should remember this from Ranger Pam, pollination. Remember we learned about the life cycle of a honeybee and their importance? They help spread pollen, right? So we have more plants. The tiny seeds ripen. Birds peck the seeds in the flower heads. Some seeds are eaten and some are blown away by the wind. Some are caught in animal fur and fall to the ground later. Seeds can be carried far away from the mother plant. There we go. In autumn, the sunflower withers and dies. The seeds that have not been eaten or carried away fall to the ground. These seeds will be ready to grow next spring. And here's the seed that's falling to the ground. That's what the withered flower head looks like. It starts to wither or droop. And then we have some sunflower facts. Sunflower seeds are around 1/2 inch long, 0.4 inches long. The sunflower is a tall plant that can grow to 11.5 feet high. That's way taller than Mrs. Aubin. That's almost
I have a question.
2 of Mrs. Aubin. The main root of the sunflower can grow 10 feet down into the ground. That's
I have a question.
Okay, you'll have to wait just a minute. The sunflower head can grow to around 16 inches across. Think about that. If this is about a foot, 16 inches, that's a big flower. Some gardeners grow ornamental sunflowers with red striped petals. Wow, I've never seen those. The main leaves of the sunflower are heart-shaped. They are around 1 foot across and 8 inches long. The sunflower turns its head toward, oh, this is what I was telling you. I've seen this when we've been driving on the highway. You can see sunflowers down when you're not up here in the mountains. It's usually down the hill. The sunflower turns its head towards the sun and follows it across the sky. In some countries, it is called a sun seeker. Sunflowers were grown originally by Native Americans from southern Canada to Mexico. And the growth of a sunflower in spring, the seed coat splits and the root and shoot sprout. The root and the shoot use minerals from the soil to grow. The plant then buds and the sunflower grows. In autumn, the sunflower withers and the seeds fall to the ground. So you can see the life cycle right here, starting as a seed. The seed leaves sprout, then at 5 weeks, 9 weeks, it's budding, 12 weeks. Here it's flowering, it's fully grown. Now it has to die, it withers, and the seeds fall, and the cycle starts all over again. Here are a few more facts. Around 200 years ago, farmers started to grow sunflowers so that the seeds could be crushed to make sunflower oil. I bet a lot of your parents or grandparents use sunflower oil to cook with. Lucas, put that away, thank you. Sunflowers are mainly grown in America, but they are also grown in Europe. Oil from the seeds is used for cooking. The seeds themselves can be eaten too. How many, girls, can you sit down? Okay, can you sit down? Oil from the seeds is used for cooking, but the seeds themselves can be eaten too. How many of you like to eat sunflower seeds? How many keep your hand up if you eat them with the shell on? Ah, how many of you will only eat them without the shell? Yeah, it can be harsh on the stomach. The remains of the crushed seeds can be used as animal feed. So some people spit out the shell and animals will eat those. So we just read about the life cycle of a sunflower, but all plants have a cycle. I brought in a special, so we can do paper. I brought in a special seed. It is a lima bean seed, and I'm gonna put one under the document camera. You at home need to get your science spiral, science social studies spiral, and a pencil. You are gonna create a diagram. We're gonna dissect this seed, and we're gonna look for a few of the parts of a lima bean seed. Okay, so while we are getting our materials ready, I want to show you. Can continue to have your attention, please? Thank you. While I am getting some materials out, I want to, let's see, show you what parts we are looking for. So we are gonna, I have soaked some lima beans in water. And so when I do that, it makes it very loose. So this is what a lima bean looks like. If you dissect a lima bean, you might get to see the different parts. So inside a lima bean, now here we have some images, you will see that it will sprout a root and then it will sprout a shoot. That's going to be the plant, right? So we are going to look for some parts before it germinates, before it can do that. What does it have to have in order to produce a shoot up, right? The stem up and a root to go down to get the minerals it needs. What do you think that seed has to have in order for that to happen? What are the things you think we're going to have to look for in our seed? Any ideas? In the lima bean seed, what does it have to have? What do you think, Serne? It has to have, did you say food? Yeah. Yes. We need to look for food inside our seed. Oh boy. Woo. Okay. So I have one that, oh, maybe we have black paper.
Oh, so they can see it better?
Yeah.
Whoa. I've never seen that big of a lima bean. Me neither.
Oh my God. Henrik, I'm going to ask for hold on and listening. What else do we need for the seed to germinate? Henrik.
We need soil.
Okay. So what inside the seed do you think it's going to have before it can germinate? They need food. This is the lima bean. What do you think, Max? Okay, so I don't know if the root is there yet. This is the seed, yes. This is the seed. What are we going to find in the seed so that it can create a root? What do you think? An embryo. Awesome. What is an embryo? Do you know? He has the vocabulary. Does anyone know what it means? So you said food already, but what is an embryo?
Embryo. Think back. What is what you said for an embryo?
Raise your hand if you have not gotten a seed yet.
I have two of them.
Oh. Did you get one? Raise your hand if you did not get one. Okay.
I never see one.
All right. So I heard we need to find an embryo, but nobody was able to tell me what that is. Is there anybody at home that knows what an embryo is? Isabella, what do you think an embryo is?
I think an embryo is a little seedling.
Yeah, basically, yes, it's a baby plant. Thank you, Isabella. So we are going to be looking for 3 things. We are going to look for the food. We are going to look for the embryo, the baby plant or seedling. I love that. And we need to find something called the coat. Many of us wore coats to school today, Abby. because we wanted to do what to ourselves?
Keep us warm.
Protect ourselves from the cold, right? Seeds also have to be protected. They have a coat. It's the outer layer of the seed, right? It's called the seed coat. So it's there to protect it so that it can get to the germination process. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull the seed apart. Be very careful because the embryo is super duper tiny. So I'm going to start with mine. I'm going to try to get off the coat. It should, you might have to use your fingernail a little bit. It should peel off because I have soaked them for 2 nights. You might have to peel it. And you can see here, kids at home, oh, this side's coming off really well. And this is called, now you can see it. Do you see the coat? So that is called the seed coat.
Charlie has a question when you get it.
Okay. Now, this one is really easy to find. You are going to notice. Hey guys, can I have your attention and then you can do yours? Watch me do mine, then do yours, because I think you're not going to know what you're looking for. So next is when you take your seed coat off, you will notice that the bean comes apart. Now, this side, inside each half is the food that Serene was talking about. This is the food that the embryo, which is right here, do you see that funny looking tiny little plant? It's not green, it's white. But you can see it, it's right here. It's a tiny, tiny little plant. It has a little leaf, and it has this little bit of, looks like a little stem here. So that is the embryo. It's at the upper half of 1/2 of your seed. So now we have the 3 parts. We've got the seed coat, we've got the 2 halves with the food, and we have an embryo, which is a tiny baby plant. How many of you ever cut a pepper, and inside your pepper you see a baby pepper? How many of you ever done that? I find them all the time in my peppers. Watch when you have peppers for dinner or lunch, ask your mom or dad or grandma or whoever is at home or to see, look for a baby, an embryo of a pepper plant because they grow inside there sometimes. Pretty cool. If I find one, I'll bring it in and share it. Okay, so in your writings, in your science spiral, we're going to draw a diagram of a lima bean. So I am going to draw.
That's gonna be hard for me. Mine's just shattered it to pieces.
Well, you can look at mine.
Josh doesn't have one. It's just
Why isn't he telling me?
what?
He needs to come tell me then, doesn't he? Okay, here is your embryo. Here's the food right here.
Oh, I see a lot of people who are not looking at the board.
And here is my seed coat. Mine's kind of wrinkly. Okay. Okay, I will get you one. Charlie, did you have a question or comment? Okay, guys, Charlie has a question. So if I can have you be doing your job in your science spiral, that would be awesome. Charlie Van Rickley, did you have a question or comment? You can unmute. I don't even see him on there anymore. He's not, maybe he had to leave.
Yeah, mine's better than.
Honey, draw a picture. Okay. Ben, right now. Do it right now, please. Thank you. I see two people have their hands up. I don't know who you are. Oh, Isabella and Logan. Isabella, do you want to share?
She was telling me in chat that her mom is a horticulturist.
Oh, that is so cool. She should have done this lesson for us. Is that what you wanted to share, Isabella, that your mom's a horticulturalist?
Yes, my mom is a horticulturist. And she knows a lot about plants.
That is awesome. She should be a guest speaker. Logan, did you have something to share or ask?
Are we writing what's on the screen right now?
You are. You're writing it in your science spiral.
Okay.
Where's your science spiral? Have you drawn it? Okay, cool.
Some people would like me to hit the button to make it bigger. Can I do that?
Sure.
Remember, you're drawing what you see, not what you think you see, my friends. Draw like a scientist. Look closely and make sure you're drawing what you see. Does anyone need help finding their embryo? Yeah, they do fall off.
Yeah, mine fell off.
I know which one it goes on though. I don't want to try it.
It's a seed. It's not a. That's something where.
No, we're not. We only do that in park. We only paint it.
you get it.
Okay, we're gonna try. Yep. If you could hold up your diagrams for me at home, let's see what you came up with. Logan, let's see yours. Thank you, Isabella. Good job, Logan. Keep your page ready. We're gonna do some more drawings and writing. I saw Isabella. Saw Logan. Haley, can I see yours? Clara, nice job. Thank you, Clara. Robert, good job. Haley, can I see yours, Robert? Robert Westwood. Thank you, Lila. Good job, Robert. Gavin, can I see yours? Jensen, can I see yours? Gavin, I don't see you. Thank you. Good job. Looking good. All right, we are ready.
Hocus pocus. Eyes on Miss Robin.
So the next thing we are going to do, and oh boy, these got moved around a little. Oh well. I have made a, let's see, we're going to say goodbye to the lima bean. Now that you understand a little bit about how a plant's life cycle works, we are going to do some observations. Now, if you dropped off your poster, your parents should have picked up your bag of seeds. I left them in the office for your parents. If they did not do that yet, don't worry. You don't need it yet because I have it right here for you to look at. You are going to get one, though. They're at the office to be picked up. Each person that is remote gets their own. What we are going to do is we're going to do a little observation and experiment with 3 different seeds. Here's our lima bean seed. We have a corn seed, and these are the little tiny ones are radishes. Now, you're going to notice there's no soil here, but that's okay. We are going to see if we can get these to germinate without soil. And then when they do, we can add them to soil in a pot. But first, we're just going to try to get them to germinate. So what do you think we're going to have to do in order to make that happen? Any ideas? Evie, what do you think? What are we going to have to do with this little bag of seeds to make it germinate? You are on it. Exactly. We are going to add a couple teaspoons of water, and then we're going to tape these in the windows, and you're going to have to do that at home as well. So as soon as you get your bag of seeds, whether it's tomorrow or the next day, don't overwater it. It's okay if it has some water at the bottom. You're going to want to, I sealed the bag so that your seeds wouldn't fall out. You're going to want to open the bag to let what in? You want to let a little air in. So I'm going to have us at home, we're going to share with the partner. We'll add a little water. We'll tape them up into the window. And then through the next few weeks, we can watch to see what's going to happen. So before we do that, in our science spiral, I want you to draw a picture of what it looks like now. And then you're going to come up with a prediction about what you think is going to happen after watching the video and listening to what I said about the life cycle of a plant and what happens when a seed germinates. What do you predict is going to happen? So here's what I'm envisioning. In your science spiral, you are going to draw your bag, and actually, here's your bean. I'll put it back up in a minute. I just want to give you an example. These are radish, right? corn. You can do it right underneath like I did if you want, and the bean seed. Now, if you would like, this is now, right? Today's date, we can put on there, it's October 27th, 2020. If you want to then draw a line, and below, draw a picture of what you think it's gonna look like in a few days. What is your prediction? So this is what you predict will happen. What do you think is gonna happen? So everybody, well, I don't wanna draw because I don't know what you think is gonna happen. What do you think after watching the videos and learning about the life cycle of a plant? You don't need to tell me. What do you think is gonna happen? So there's the bag. You're gonna draw what it looks like now and what you think it's going to look like in a week or so. Any questions? Evie. Yeah. There'll be teams that share a bag, but you're gonna do the work in your spiral on your own. You're gonna do the drawings on your own. Yeah. Any other questions? Did anybody at home pick up their seeds already? Logan, you've got yours. Jensen, you have yours. Good. I just want to make sure. And thank you for the posters. Robert, we shared your poster with the class. It was wonderful. Great job. Yeah, good. And I did find out that Staunton Park's event is Saturday from 10 to 2. I'll send an email tonight, I think. It's on Halloween Day. It's from 10 to 2. So
I did send it in the Bobcat Black.
it was in there? Oh, then maybe I don't need to send it.
The one you sent yesterday. Or Sunday or yesterday.
Did you add that?
Nope. It's all the activities from around here.
Perfect.
All right. So should I pass out or are we?
While they're drawing, yeah, you could do your, I'll have to do mine in my room. Oh, yeah, I guess we could. Then they have to get together. No, I think we could do it after. I'll just give you, and I'll do mine, we'll do them in the room. Okay. Because we gotta water them and. Okay. I think it'll just go chaotic.
I don't think Robert, can you tell Robert he's supposed to be drawing right now?
Robert, can I see your diagram? Do you have the drawings done? You're supposed to be drawing.
I had to refill those.
Gotcha. You're refilling your pencil? Okay, thank you.
I don't believe it's gonna happen.
I should see two pictures, one now and one in the future.
Two pictures. You draw what it looks like now, what you're seeing here, and then what you think down below. It's gonna, what you think is gonna happen down below. You're using your scientific hypothesis, what you think might happen next.
So I'd love to share. What are your thoughts? What do you think is going to happen? Any ideas, Elena? Okay, Elena thinks that the seed's going to open up and a little stem's going to come out. Jensen, what do you think? Jensen, can you unmute? You had your hand up. What do you think's going to happen?
I think that the same as Elena.
Okay, anything different, Lila? Thank you, Jensen.
So, I think that the seed's gonna open up a tiny bit and sprout, and then I think that it's gonna form a little flower.
Okay, what about, thank you for sharing. Make sure you draw that. Haley, what about you?
I think the lima beans stick out a little stem, but I think the radish and corn, it's gonna stay the same.
Excellent. Why do you think that?
I don't know, it's just a thought because I've tried planting radishes before and it took like a month for them to finally sprout.
Good, I'm glad you're using your schema to help you with your prediction. Anybody else? Haley Luker.
I think that the corn is gonna I think it's gonna take longer than the radish because usually corn is hard to grow. It takes a long time.
Okay, I know in the past I've seen our radish grow really well and the others not so well. And some years I've had the beans grow really well and it really is hard to tell. It could have to do with temperature, how much water, how much sunlight it's getting. So we will have to see. Now maybe, I'm curious if maybe your seeds at home will do better than our seeds here at school. So that will be fun. We'll have to give you guys a chance to share how your seeds are doing. Make sure you think of a place you're gonna tape it in a window. So Lila, I see your bedroom. Astria, that would be a great window behind you to tape yours up in, right? So I'll be curious to hear all about it. Jensen.
I have a great place to put my plants too.
Where are you gonna put them?
Right here.
Let me get on to you. Oh yeah, lots of sun.
Yeah, the sun usually rises over there. And
If you feel that the temperatures get too cold, you could move it off of a window, but somewhere where the sun is still going to shine on it. That's just a thought. Okay, I have a couple hands up here, and then we will, just a reminder, when you fill it put water in it, you only want to put a small amount, like a couple tablespoons. A couple tablespoons. If you have a little at the bottom, that's fine. Okay. And then a couple questions, Madison.
So what about nighttime?
At nighttime, they'll just stay in the window or wherever you have them. They're not going to get moved around. Yes, Ryder. Okay, let me know if it comes back to you, Mrs. Booker. We'll keep up with that here in the classroom. Mrs. Harrison and I will remind you when it's time. Okay. All right. Great job today, guys. So hopefully we'll get to experience and actually observe the life cycle of a few plants. And if you haven't gotten your seeds yet, just water it and put it in your window when you do. Any other questions before we say goodbye? And then I'll see you at math. Nice job today, guys. How are you feeling about the life cycle of a plant? 4, 3. Interesting. We still have a lot to learn after I looked at our predictions. I think we'll be surprised. All right.
Should I color it
Okay,
in?
guys, we'll see you soon.
I have a question.